Hey, we're back at the AACA Fall Meet. That's the Hershey Fall Meet. Today we're going to be looking at the car corral. There's some really nice cars for sale. I'm just going to be able to show you a small percentage of them because there are so many. Keep in mind that a lot of these cars may not change hands this weekend, so may still be for sale. Anyway, I have a picture that I took of all of the signage because I wanted to be able to give you guys the pricing information. So if you see something you like, drop me a line. I may have their contact information. Anyway. Let's go walk around and take a look at what's out there. Let's kick things right off with a 1965 Shelby GT350. This is the real thing. All matching numbers with a high quality restoration, so they say, offered at $525,000. One of only 562 made. This vendor, Hyman Limited, has brought a number of very high-end cars, so let's go and look at a couple more of them. Over here in the corner, we've got a 1957 dual Ghia. If you're not familiar with this is a low-production collaboration between Dual Motors in Detroit and Ghia of Italy. These started with a standard Dodge chassis that was shipped to Italy. The body was by Ghia and then shipped back to Detroit to be finished off by Dual. Only about 32 Dual Ghias still exist in the world. This one is being offered at $495,000 OBO, or interesting trades, so the sign says. Hey, as long as we're in here rubbing elbows with the hoi polloi, let's go look at this 1935 Duesenberg J. It's got a body by Legrand and is a dual cowl fin. That means that the back seat people have their own windshield back there. This is a Duesenberg J. They say has been upgraded to SJ spec, which means that it's has a supercharger added to it. They're asking $1,375,000, so I'm not going to touch it too much. All right, one more high-end car. This is a 1911 Pope Hartford for $325,000. Pope Hartford was kind of a short-lived automobile brand. It was started in 1904 by Colonel Albert Pope, who had made the very successful Columbia bicycles. The Pope Hartford was made in Hartford, Connecticut. He also had other brands like the Pope Toledo, which was in, you guessed it, Toledo, Ohio. Albert died in 1909. His companies sort of struggled on, but finally closed up shop in 1915. The Toledo plant was acquired by Overland Motors, who became very successful and eventually made the Jeep in that building. All right, here's a palate cleanser Model T Ford. There's no sign on this one, so I can't give you the price, but it's actually a really neat setup here. It's a fifth wheel truck. It has a really interesting chain drive gear reducer thing on the back here that the tag says it's made by Redden Truck Company. It doesn't look like we've got an extended wheelbase. It's just a gear reduction. The trailer is actually by Studebaker. It's got a hand crank on the little parking wheels there. We've got solid rubber tires all around. I really like the steel spoke wheels that we've got here on the back. The Model T truck has electric headlights but with brass rims, so that's 1915 style. Overall, this is just a really cool rig. Oh, I did want to highlight this cool little reserve gas tank it's got on the dash, made by Remington Automotive Products. It's really neat, maybe for hill climbing, I'm guessing. Anyway, that's kind of a cool little thing. Here's something you don't see around here every day. This is a 1947 Fiat 500 Topolino. They're asking $22,750, and it's said to have a recent engine rebuild. It's a really neat car. I like the convertible top and the way that works. It's I don't know, an unusual thing, at least on this side of the Atlantic. They were made from 1936 to 1955, so they're more common in Italy. All right, here's some solid American iron. 1951 Mercury convertible. It's got the original flathead in there. This one has had a total frame-off restoration, being offered at $68,000. Here's a beautiful 1931 Chrysler rumble seat roadster. Unfortunately, no sign, so I can't give you the price on this one. A nice car, though. Hey, Broncos are hot right now, so let's look at this one. This is a 1977 that's obviously had a little bit of work done here. Looks like it's got lifted suspension. It's got upgraded interior with newer bucket seats. The engine is a 302 that has had fuel injection on there. So obviously it's putting out a little bit more horses than maybe what the factory unit would have done. It's being offered at $65,000. All right, I do love me some cars of the 30s, and here's a nice one. This is a 1935 Cadillac 355. Just look at that hood ornament on there. This is being offered at $52,900. This little two-door coupe with the golf bag doors in the back shows your friends that you're surviving the Depression better than most. The white walls are a nice touch. Moving along to something a little bit more standard, you can have this nice 1964 VW Beetle for $19,000. It looks like it's had quite a bit of engine work, but I really like the roof rack on there. It really sets the rest of the car off. For $29,500, you could own this 1968 Dodge Adventurer pickup truck with only 41,000 original miles on it. The seafoam kind of green and the white two-tone really set off this truck with a nice vintage look on a standard cab long bed. There's a good selection of trucks for sale here today, and Car Corral is open to cars that are 25 years or older, so you can go up to 1998 and still be in the Car Corral, like this newer Dodge truck here. There's a nice 1951 shoebox Ford sitting there next to it. I have to apologize, I didn't catch the price on that one, but it's a nice car. The two-tone brown really looks good on it too. Moving back in time just a little bit, we've got a 1930 Packard. This is a Model 726 being offered at $38,500. Said to be the original paint. It could be. It'd have to be very well preserved. Everything on there is said to be original. And that could be true. That's the little oil reservoir thing right there. Still a total loss oil system. Nash, 1956 Nash Statesman Super for $17,700. Said to be a solid car and a joy to drive, and I can believe it. Nice two-tone blue paint job on there too. 1937 Dodge pickup for $31,500. I actually own the Plymouth equivalent of this that's sort of all in pieces and scattered around my barn, but this one is nicer because it's all put together. It's got the little ram hood ornament. I have the ship. For $38,500, you can have this 1959 Rambler American panel delivery wagon. The sign says one of only 3 ever made, and that makes it rare indeed. It's been completely restored and looks it. It's a really kind of neat looking thing you can see in the back there this is just cool. 1960 Sunliner for $42,500. Next to that, we got a Chrysler Town & Country. They're asking $75,000. 1950 looks like a panel delivery here. That's super nice. Asking $37,500 and supposedly had a frame-off restoration. And yeah, that's believable because it's nice inside and out. Look at the inside of this thing. That's just really nice. Oh, I do love Suburbans. Here's a 1975 for sale for $32,900. 92,000 original miles on this one. Here's another 1951 Mercury. This one's a more affordable $16,000. It's got the accessory bumper guards on there. Of course, this one is not a convertible like the other one. This one is said to be an all-original car, and it's, as you can see, very nicely preserved. Next up, for $27,500, you can have this 1964 El Camino. This is a Southern truck. They claim everything on it works as it should. It's got a 327 automatic and some kind of accessory aftermarket tonneau cover there. Hey, if you want a nice car, why screw around? Just go ahead and buy a nice car. Here's a 1987 Daimler Limousine. This one is low mileage, just a little over 21,000 kilometers or just a little over 13,000 Freedom units. They're asking $82,900, and it's already left-hand drive. Let's see what's in this row. We got a 73 Riviera here for $20,000. Unfortunately, I didn't catch the price on this 66 Thunderbird or the 1940 Packard limousine here. Actually, are really nice. That's a gigantic car. I did get the price on this one though. $12,500 will get you this 1962 Triumph Herald. Apparently it has 41,000 original miles, but has just had a complete engine and transmission rebuild. I do see Triumphs around, but Heralds are really kind of rare to see. Usually it's a Triumph like a TR or something. Anyway, moving along, we have a really nice 1965 Ford Econoline pickup for $27,500. This is the 5-window model, so it's got the extra little windows there in the back corners of the cab. Some of them were just solid. These are just really cool to see. Moving right along, we've got a 1920 Dodge touring car. The owner is asking $10,500 for what looks like a pretty straight, solid car. 1920 was sort of a pivotal year for Dodge. They ranked second place behind Ford in sales that year. But 1920 was also the year that both of the Dodge brothers died of natural causes, one in January and one in December. The company carried on, though. Hey, here's something unusual. 1975 Ford Pinto Ranchero, or Pinchero. Anyway, the owner claims this is one of 8 actually made by the Ford Motor Company. It's got 44,000 original miles and can be yours for a reasonable $19,500. Not bad for something so unique. Oh yeah, that's 1975, all right. Classic Auto Mall pop-up showroom. Well, that certainly looks interesting. Let's go see what they have for sale. Really sharp-looking 1959 Alfa Romeo Spider here. This is $125,000 and just a clean car. I like the spare tire kind of tucked in behind the seats there. I don't know, this is really nice and clean and very 1950s European look to it. Ooh, here's a 1950s look. 1959 Plymouth Sport Fury convertible. For $74,900, you can own this car and drive it to hell and back. Look at those fins. What's 1959 without just gigantic fins? This is just a clean, nice-looking car from any angle. I love this thing. $71,000 buys you this 1948 Pontiac Streamliner 8 Silver Streak station wagon. This is a true woody wagon with ash framing and mahogany inserts. So this is all actual wood framing and not just a metal body with wood trim applied to the outside. 1939 Hudson Series 75 Country Club 8. You know, I was just thinking to myself that I haven't really covered enough Hudsons lately because I'm weird, I guess. Anyway, $34,000 will buy you this nice straight example. Hudson, of course, went on to merge with Nash and form American Motors. 1930 Rolls-Royce Phantom for $200,000. Interestingly, this one started off life as a limousine with open chauffeur compartment and enclosed back end. Then it was converted to a hearse, then converted to a van and toured Russia and China, and then finally it was rebodied as a dual cowl phaeton that you see here. I really like the controls of this era on Rolls Royces. They're just, I don't know, I find them amusing. Do you want the ignition early or late? Do you want the carburetor weak or strong? How do you set the governor? It's just funny. Just a good old standard looking Model A 5-window coupe here for $17,500. Over next to it, we've got a 1972 Buick Estate Wagon for $25,500. Apparently, this has had one owner most of its life and has really been driven since year 2000, but has since been all gone over. It's a nice car. It's got the yacht paneling on the side. It's got the little trim on the side of the hood there that's sort of a nod to the portholes that Buick used to have back in the 50s. Actually, the Buick Estate Wagon has a real upscale feel to it. Let's take a look at the interior, and you can kind of see what I mean. See, we've got all this nice brown leather in there. You know, you're really kind of arrived when you can carry your family around in one of these. Nice and clean in here too. For $34,500, you can have this 1957 Ford Skyliner retractable. You can see this is a hardtop, where the hardtop kind of folds up and disappears into the trunk. That little area right in the middle, that's really your only storage, because the folding top really takes up a lot of space. That was sort of a big detriment to this car. Nice, clean-looking 1936 Ford Coupe here. Was $55,000. I believe the price has been marked down to $45,000. Let me just shamelessly plug my video tour of the V8 Ford Foundation Museum, where I cover the 1936 extensively. Anyway, this is a nice, clean example of a 5-window here. Nice rumble seat, because what parent among you hasn't wanted to store your kids outside the car? This 36 Buick Business Coupe was sold by the time I saw it, so I didn't catch the price. This would have been the direct competitor to that 36 Ford that we just looked at. 1929 Graham Page for $46,900. I always like to see Grahams. They're the Graham brothers. They've depicted themselves in medieval helmets because, you know, why not? That is the Graham logo, which is not really very descriptive. So sometimes you run into that and you don't really know what it goes to. It's a Graham. Gauges, nice square gauges, all lined up in a row. Nice car. All right, let's see what else we've got. Here's a 1920 Dodge for $14,900. 37 Cadillac, also $14,900. 1979 Hearst Olds for $29,000. It's got T-tops. 1968 LeSabre convertible for $21,900, negotiable. 1960 Chevy Biscayne for $34,000. I didn't see the price on this Lotus Elan. It may have already sold, I'm not sure. 1989 560 SL, that was $34,000. $17,000 for this 1954 MGTF. 1956 Morgan for $42,000. And $55,000 for that 1971 Jaguar. 1967 Plymouth Fury 3. I didn't see where he had the price on this one. Just on the other side of that, we've got a 1937 Packard 115C Club Sedan. They're asking $24,900 for that. Last car in this little walk is a 1947 Jeep. They're asking $15,000 even. For that price, you can go out and have fun with Little Lashes Lizzie here. Good choice for Jeep Fest. Just as a reminder, there are a lot of cars here, so I'm not covering, anywhere near all of them. There's a lot of cars here. It's a good place to come and shop for your classic cars, or maybe a bus. If you've got $129,000, you could own this 1993 Wander Lodge. There's a sign on it there. I think it might be for sale. Anyway, we're looking for select clientele with longer driveways. I got to tell you, I was really taken with this 1939 GMC panel truck. Of course, I'm a sucker for patina. In this case, it looks like the preservation of the patina is very purposeful, since it looks like the wheels have been painted and the engine bay has been painted, so maybe the engine's been gone over too, but certainly not the interior. Interior looks nice. The blankets on the seats really sold me on this. I like that a lot. See, there's the engine. Looks like there's been some work done there. So this is probably a good, solid running car. Asking $19,500, by the way. Anyway, for $15,500, you could get this. It's a 1957 Dodge Coronet Lancer in what looks like a little bit original condition, maybe. Anyway, I'm more of a fan of the flags on the antenna than you might think. It gives me that 1970s used car lot vibe. 10,500 buys this 96 Cadillac Fleetwood limousine. All right, 1959 Messerschmitt KR200, a microcar, asking 39,500. So right after the war, Messerschmitt was not allowed to build airplanes because of, you know why. Anyway, they started to look into other things that they might possibly do. One of the things was this little two-seater car. They started with the KR175 and then later this KR200. As you can see, this is a true three-wheeled car. And there's a two-seat that their passenger sits actually behind the driver. That is a single-cylinder engine back there. It's 190cc Sachs, making 10 horsepower. Here's a rare one. This is a 1935 Plymouth commercial sedan. Apparently there were about 1,100 of these commercial sedans produced, and what makes it the commercial sedan is in the back there. That's actually a storage area. This is said to be the only example of this body style still remaining. You can see the back door swings open, giving you access to the storage area. There are no seats back there, so it's sort of like a little like a van kind of a deal. They're asking $38,000 for this rare piece. Look at that fancy grill. We're dealing with a 1924 Buick. They were asking $21,500, and it is sold. That same grille shape is repeated on the headlight bezels and I believe on the instrumentation. So you can find Buick parts by identifying that shape. Hey, T-Bird. This is in kind of a coral color, I guess you'd call that, coral and white. Anyway, they're asking $34,900. So for $18,500, you can have a 86 Dodge Omni. Not a normal Dodge Omni. This is a Shelby GLHS. The sign says goes like hell, and I guess I can believe them, as fast as you want to go in an Omni. In all seriousness, though, this thing is a rocket on the streets and highly collectible these days. Really, heck, anything with the Shelby name is highly collectible these days. Very low mileage, original 56 Olds 88, 31,500, but with factory AC. 25,900 OBO for this 1950 Ford Custom Deluxe. Nice shoebox Ford, nice straight-looking flathead engine in there. Owner claims this car has had a complete frame-off nut and bolt restoration. It is Ford sale. See those headlights fared into the fenders like that? You immediately know that we're dealing with a Pierce Arrow. That's a Pierce Arrow trademark, as well as that very delicate and beautiful horn ornament on there. This is a 1929 dual cowl Phaeton. See with the windshield for the backseat passengers. This is being offered at $70,000, including a enclosed trailer that goes with it. Although he says he's open to offers. A very nice either 56 or 57 Corvette here. I don't know the price. It was marked as sold, but it's just a very nice looking car, so I thought I'd show it to you anyway. It's really looking great in the white with the silver on the trim there, red interior, just a beautiful, beautiful car. All right, $135,000 buys this 1935 Riley Imp. The Imp was made by Riley for only a couple of years, and only 120 of them were made. That's a 50 horsepower engine in there, but due to its very small, lightweight size, this was a highly competitive track car. This one is said to be the most original Imp in existence. Over next to this car, we've got a 1957 Porsche 356 Speedster. This is being offered at $355,000 and has had a lot of work done. This is the so-called bathtub Porsche, partly because it looks like an upside-down bathtub, but I've also heard people call it that because the roofs had a tendency to leak a lot in the rain, so it was like sitting in a bathtub. Just your standard 6-cylinder 1965 Mustang. No bells or whistles, no GT, whatever it is. $19,000, just a nice car. The white interior is very period correct. They did really used to love their white interiors. Looking really sharp in this case, though. Nice Mustang, nice car. Hey, I know you. I just saw this exact car sell at the Worldwide Fall Auction in Auburn, Indiana. This is a 1959 Porsche 356A convertible sold there for $97,000. It's being offered here for $145,000. Go check out my video of that auction if you want to see a little bit more on this car. 1960 Austin Healey Sprite race car. This is an original race car. It was tuned by Donald Healey at the factory. It's being offered for $45,000 and has period race history. I'm also a fan of the Bishop chess piece on the door. Hey, I always try and show you some bat wings, so here's a really nice one. This is a 1959 Impala offered for $9,250. I thought that was very reasonable. It only has a 6-cylinder engine in it, but, you know, who cares? You're all about cruising in style anyway. A little bit of paint fading on the hood, but, you know, once again, who cares? It's a 1959 Chevy. It's a nice car. 85 Lincoln Signature Series for $10,595. 1970 AMX for $35,000. 77 T-Bird for $11,900. 56 Roadmaster for $59,900. 86 Buick Grand National for $39,000. Hey, it's got T-tops. 1963 Corvette for $69,900. Yeah, well, wait a minute here. We got something special. $105,000 will buy you this 1955 Corvette. Looks like a barn find, although they say the engine has been completely rebuilt to NCRS standards. The body has been left as is, flaws and all, which I think actually is a good choice because, let me tell you, it's a real eye-catcher here. 55 Corvettes are kind of rare to see. They only made 700 of them. The Corvette hadn't really taken off at that point. From what I can tell, this should be a turn the key and go kind of a car. Guaranteed to draw a crowd at any cruise-in. Drive it down to Bowling Green for the big show there. Hey, speaking of the big show, here it is. 1967 Ford Country Squire, $22,500. 73,000 original miles, always garage kept. The back, he's got these sideways facing back seats. My motion sickness prone wife almost threw up just looking at those things. There's the gas cap, which I'm sure you'll become very familiar with, but this is a seriously worth it car. 1977 Toyota Land Cruiser for $32,000. North American spec and only 29,000 original miles. Colorado truck. These things are becoming highly sought after, and here is a clean, original example. It's ready for whatever you want to throw at it. These things have a reputation for ruggedness, to say the least. Speaking of rugged, take a look at this 84 Dodge truck. This is a former Pennsylvania brush truck, and they really spared no expense on the grill guard. Looks like you're ready to go into the Velociraptor pen with this thing. Original 4x4 with only 13,000 original miles. They're asking $17,900, and this may seriously be my truck pick of the day. This thing is just cool. It's got the big water tank with the pumps on the back. It's got all of the toolboxes all around. This thing is highly useful, and it'd be great to scare the neighbors with. It's got the original radio equipment in there. Everything is looking nice and clean. Plus, if you want to go and drive it through the woods, anything smaller than like 3 inches in diameter, just don't worry about it. I would drive this. 1955 Pontiac 2-door Chieftain wagon for $27,500. If those aftermarket rims aren't exactly your cup of tea, he's also throwing in the standard GM ones. Nice color-matched interior. This has been redone in factory-correct colors. One of the things I like about the high-end Pontiacs is the hood ornament. That amber part lights up. So when you turn on the headlights, the hood ornament lights up too. You can see the wiring going to it on the underside there. Those are really just cool to see at night. Here's another cool truck. This is a 1950 Chevy 3600 for $29,900. This is really looking sharp in the Sinclair livery. It's radio dispatched. Everything on here looks correct for a 1950s wrecker. Let's take a look inside, and oh, yep, there is the period correct radio there. So it is in fact a radio dispatch. The back end here, this is a Weaver setup. I see this garage specializes in selling Fisk tires, and they apparently never sleep. 1935 Lincoln Model K Club Sedan. I didn't catch the price. Maybe I just missed it. I don't know. Anyway, this is a Lincoln V12 engine in there. In fact, the Lincoln Model K in 35 was offered with only a V12. It was designed to compete against the Cadillac V12, the Packard V16, and even the Duesenberg J. This, of course, was when the Depression was still going on, so sales for the Model K were somewhat limited. This particular car has been totally rebuilt and has a known history since new. Very nice car. Hey, speaking of very nice cars, here's an MG. This isn't just any MG. This is a 1937 MG SA. This is a full-on classic, and by the time I came by, he had his sign down, so I didn't catch the price. Sorry. Anyway, the SAs were a pre-war line from MG designed to compete with the SS cars. SS, of course, changed their name right after the war to Jaguar, so as not to be confused with any other things that went by the name SS. All right, I need everybody to pay attention here because this guy promised me a commission if I sold his car, so this is serious business. This is a 1906 Buick Model F. He's asking $49,500. And let me tell you, this is a two-cylinder car. It runs great. I saw him pull this thing in. It has beautiful patina. You could leave it as is or build it your way. The two-cylinder engine puts out 22 horsepower. That's the same as a Model T was producing as late as 1927. See those handles on the side lights? That's because those are kerosene-powered side lights, and you can actually lift them up off of the mounts and carry them around to light up if you're like working under the car or something. Got a carbide generator and a Prestolite tank. Not sure what's up with that. There's the original horsehair upholstery showing through the little bit of wear that you get on the original seats. Kerosene-powered taillight there. See the guy standing next to it for scale. That's actually a bigger car than you might give it credit for if you didn't have anything next to it to scale off of. Gigantic brass hinges actually kind of amused me there. There's going to be 2 ignition coils in that wooden box that's under the dash, one for each cylinder. This is right-hand drive. This is from an era where the United States hadn't really standardized yet. All right, let's move along. It's another very nice 1936 Ford. This is a deluxe Phaeton for $58,000. It says comes with new side curtains. And it's had a full frame-off restoration. All right, we're going to wrap things up here with a real time capsule. This is a 1964 Chevy G10 camper conversion. Look at that 1964 AC unit. This was converted to a camper when it was new. I really like the pop-up there. You got everything appears as new. This has less than 30,000 original miles on it. The sign says it runs and drives perfectly. He's asking $40,000 for it. Clean, untouched camper conversions like this are really you don't really see them. A lot of times when you see these things, they've been really run out or they've been really modified a lot. One of the little features I like is it's got this like screen that goes over the driver's window, so you can roll down the window and still have like a mosquito netting there. I really like that big antenna up on the roof too. That was a few of the cars that were for sale at the Car Corral this weekend. It's a great show, which I've said many times. So if you're doing anything first weekend on October, come on out. I've got a couple of other Hershey videos that I'm going to post. Anyway, if you like the show, there should be a link right about here for some of my other videos, and a link right about there to subscribe to the channel. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.